Would you quit listening to that radio and help me paddle?
This isn't a radio. This is a whale instructional tape. I'm learning how to speak whale.
Whale speak? You mean like talk to a whale?
Yeah, well, yeah. They have a language just like us. And since we're going to see Canada's most incredible whales, I am practicing.
Let me try.
In this episode of CG Kids, we check out the giants of the deep, whales.
First, we go to one of the best places in Canada to whale watch, Tadoussac, Quebec on the St. Lawrence River. Then we head to the west coast to the famous Vancouver Aquarium Marine Science Center.
Later, we get the inside scoop on a right whale along the shores of Nova Scotia.
In Jay's Geology, I check out how whales have adapted to their watery world.
Don't miss a whale of a time on this episode of CG Kids.
Geographic Kids.
We made it to the village of Tadoussac in the province of Quebec. This small community of almost 900 people is on the north shore of Canada's St. Lawrence River.
Tadoussac is known throughout the world as a great place to whale watch. That's because whales head up the St. Lawrence River in search of food before they make the journey south for the winter. So we're hoping to check out some of these incredible animals.
Since I won't be able to communicate with these incredible animals.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. I think I'm gonna have to buy another tape.
First, let's go buy some dry clothes.
Well, if Jamie and Edie want to find whales, they are definitely in a great place.
During the summer months, whales can be found along the St. Lawrence, such as the world's largest and most endangered, the blue whale, plus the minke and humpback.
But this isn't the only place to see whales in Canada. There are around 33 different whale species in Canadian waters.
Whales are constantly on the move around Canada, down past Labrador, Newfoundland, into the Gulf of the St. Lawrence and Bay of Fundy, up in Canada's north around Baffin Island and into the Hudson Bay, like bowhead and beluga whales, and all along the coast of BC.
But at one time, there were a lot more whales in Canada than there are today. So many that over 450 years ago, whale hunters from northern Spain and southern France came to Canada to hunt them.
One area where these whalers set up camp was in southern Labrador. Today, it's known as the Red Bay National Historic Site of Canada. They hunted along the Strait of Belle Isle, and it's estimated that 25,000 whales were killed in a 50-year period.
Today we follow the migrational pattern of whales for another reason, to study and learn more about them. Whales don't always travel in the open ocean, because sometimes the best food can be found by swimming up rivers.
Especially the St. Lawrence. Jamie and Edie are in the Quebec village of Tadoussac. This area of the river is known as an estuary, where the fresh water of the St. Lawrence River mixes with the ocean water from the Atlantic, offering up some great whale food.
So Jamie and Edie have a pretty good chance at seeing some whales, if they don't scare them away first.
That's the best you could do?
What?
Beau vêtement. What did she say?
Merci. I know that beau in French means nice, so she likes my clothes.
Tu dois sûrement blaguer.
Oui. Yeah. She definitely loves your clothes.
Ah, merci. You must be Karen.
Bonjour. Bonjour. Bonjour.
Enchanté.
Est-ce que ça vous tenterait de connaître un peu plus Tadoussac? Oui.
Oui.
Carrie Ann doesn't speak English.
Oh, wow. C'est beau.
She's lived all over Quebec, but loves it here in Tadoussac.
The view here is incredible.
How long have you lived in Tadoussac?
Ben, ça fait 4 ans que je vis à Tadoussac.
I've lived in Tadoussac for 4 years. And before we came to live here, I lived in the Laurentians with my parents.
So what's your very favorite thing about living here?
J'aime beaucoup aller en
I really like going on boat tours to see the whales. It's really fun. And you can see lots of whales.
Now, when you're looking out on the water, can you tell the different whales apart?
I know 2 kinds of whales. I know the beluga and the minke. I can recognize them from their colors. The beluga is white and the minke is black. We often see them here in the bay.
Ce que vous avez devant vous, c'est
Hotel Tadoussac really represents Tadoussac. You see it in a lot of pictures. In 1981, there was even a film shot here, Hotel New Hampshire.
Après ça, devant vous, vous avez la baie de Tadoussac.
In front of you, you've got the Bay of Tadoussac. It's one of the most beautiful bays in the world.
Après ça, il y a...
After that, you have the Chauvin Museum. It's one of the oldest trading posts.
Thanks so much for the tour, Carrie-Anne. Can we go see some whales now?
OK.
We hooked up with marine biologist Chantal Saint-Hilaire to learn more about the whales in this area's estuary.
Hey, look over there.
Oh, wow! It must be a minke.
So minke whale, they come here, they stay here near villages because they eat a lot of fish. So that's why we have those type of whales so near our villages. And that whale measures approximately 10 meters for 10 tons.
Do they have huge teeth?
No, they don't have teeth at all. Instead, they have what we call baleen plate. So they feed by filtration of the water. That's why the minke whale that you're looking at is making circle. And each time they dive under the water, they feed, they attack food. They eat a lot of krill, fish, and plankton.
What other whales can we find around the shore?
At Tadoussac, 8 different species of whale come over here in this area. And near the shore, usually those are beluga whale and minke whale. We never know what we're going to discover. It's always a new adventure for us.
Hey, there's a seal! Seal!
That's a gray seal. And seals like whales come here for their feeding. So they come here to feed, like the whale that we just saw, the minke whales.
Thank you, Chantal.
Very much.
That was
Thank
amazing.
Merci.
Merci.
Hey, by the way, I wanted to ask you, I had this tape. It was teaching me to speak whale. And I wonder if you've ever seen one of those.
No, I never heard something like that before. No.
Where did you get that tape in the first place?
Oh, well, I ordered it from TV.
Do you often find yourself wishing you had something to say to an animal of another species, only to find you don't speak their language?
Well, now you can speak the language of the deeps with this amazing series called How to Speak Whale. Many species of whales use a type of vocal communication to speak to each other, and now you can too.
Hello, nice to meet you.
Now you too can learn the languages and many dialects of Canada's 33 different whale species, like the humpback whale, blue whale, gray or minke whale anywhere, at home, at work, and anywhere at all. You'll be the life of parties. Yeah.
Don't miss out on these incredible and fabulous whale songs, such as "Ow-you, you are, ow-you," and everyone's favorite,
How much would you expect to pay for this fabulous tape? $400? $800? $1,000? Well, this tape can be yours for the low, low price of $19.95. 45 payments of $19.95.
All right, guys, it's triviography time.
That's right, and the triviography question is...
What?
Oh, wait! Let's build some suspense. Wait for it. What was that?
Is that enough suspense?
Oh, yes!
What is pelagic?
Pelagic?
And it's not when you're allergic to medicine.
Pillurgic?
And it's not when you're allergic to your best friend.
Howlergic?
Oh no! I must be allergic to you!
Oh, come on, those are from your candy.
Don't touch my allergic spots, I'll get more! Stay away from me!
We are on Canada's west coast in Vancouver, British Columbia. Vancouver is home to Vancouver's Aquarium Marine Science Centre, Canada's premier marine research facility, especially on whales.
And we're gonna get up close and personal with some beluga. Beluga whales are pretty amazing animals. I've got some different props that are here that I'd like to share with you that kind of demonstrate a little bit about the animal, where they're from, and how they're built. This big guy right here is a major predator of the beluga whales, and so of course what happens in the wintertime is that the beluga whales will go and they'll search for ice holes because the ice is frozen over in the ice packs. They need to find those holes to come up for air, and of course who is lurking behind but these polar bears that are waiting for them, and with one swift swipe of their paw they can literally carry a full-grown beluga whale right out of that ice pack. This right here is their pectoral flippers. If we were to take an X-ray or to look inside, what you can see is that of course this structure looks just like my hand, exactly. So this is a great indication that these of course are mammals similar to ourselves.
It's almost lunchtime, so we're gonna get a lesson in beluga feeding.
So you want to reach in, grab a handful of capelin, some squid, and make sure she gets some herring as well.
Now, no snacking, Edie, okay? Those are for the whales.
Now we get to meet these amazing creatures. This is Keela. She's 8 years old.
Oh wow! She's so soft.
She's very soft. Some people compare the beluga whales to feeling like a hard-boiled egg without the shell. Yeah, kind of firm but kind of jiggly at the same time.
Ooh, I think she likes it.
These belugas are accustomed to being touched because each day they are given a checkup from top to tail to make sure they're healthy.
Hello, hello.
I can't believe this. Wow! How much fat is this? Like, how deep is this?
The blubber layer on beluga whales tend to be about 10 to 20 centimeters.
Look at those little teeth, eh? They're just a bunch of little molars.
Yeah, she's still actually getting some of her teeth.
And that's for what? Just chewing on little fish?
Generally, they swallow everything whole. So they eat herring, capelin, and squid, but in the wild, beluga whales will also eat clams or mud shrimp, sort of Arctic cods. The melon here, this is what we call a melon.
The melon.
Melon. It's full of fatty, oily tissue. And by manipulating their melon, they can direct sound, and this is how they use their echolocation, sort of like their radar or their sonar. So left hand, ready? Wait.
Bye.
Bye.
Good girl. Researchers here are trying to find out more about how whales communicate, so they've been recording their conversations.
We've been focusing on a little beluga here at the Vancouver Aquarium named Tuvok, who was born just over a year ago, and following his development of sounds throughout his life so far. So if we look at this computerized display of the sounds that Tuvok made when he was a baby, I can play this sound for you.
That's Tuvok?
That was all Tuvok.
Baby talk.
Oh.
Baby talk.
Yeah. And I'll go up to 12 months now.
Neato.
So you can't tell yet what Tuvok is saying, but do you guys have any theories as to what you think he's trying to communicate?
Well, he's certainly communicating his emotions. He's saying, I'm okay, or I'm hungry, or I'm annoyed. Those sort of very simple kinds of things.
So you can't actually talk to whales?
No, not yet, but maybe someday.
Well, there you go, Jamie. I guess the lesson is you shouldn't believe everything you hear on television.
All right, guys, it's Triviography answer time.
And we're gonna give you a huge hint to the answer. Did you get it?
Do you know the answer? In order to get the answer, you have to remember the question. Edie, do you remember the question?
What is pelagic?
Ah, right! Jay, I'm gonna send that off to you. What is pelagic?
Pelagic. The word pelagic comes from the ancient Greek word pelagos, meaning the sea. It describes an open area of water where different creatures live. It's used to describe anything related to, living in, or around the open sea. It's also used to describe the different habitat levels of the sea. Epipelagic, mesopelagic, bathopelagic, abyssopelagic, and hadopelagic, which includes the dark depths of the bottom of the ocean, containing unknown species of fish yet to be discovered.
We are now on the other side of Canada, on the east coast of Nova Scotia. In the waters around Nova Scotia, and especially in the Bay of Fundy, you can find the North Atlantic right whale.
These whales actually got their name by being considered the right whale to hunt. That's because these large ocean mammals are slow-moving and they actually float when killed.
But today, the North Atlantic right whale is considered endangered, with only slightly more than 300 left in the world. Now, one of the last places you'd expect to find a right whale on the East Coast is right here.
How did a right whale end up right here?
This whale was swimming in the sea, and it was struck by a ship in the middle of a shipping lane. It was dragged ashore into a place near Digby, Nova Scotia, and we took most of the flesh off, put it aboard a dump truck, and brought it to the site.
The reason the whale was brought here is to let it decompose naturally, and then it will be moved to the Museum of Natural History in Halifax.
What kind of whale is this?
This is a female right whale. It's a young one. She was only 8 years old when she was hit.
How long would this whale have been expected to survive?
If it had survived, well, that's the problem. We really don't know how long whales can live, for sure. But certainly 60, possibly 80 years. It's one of those things where we don't have all the answers right now.
So what are the different bones we're looking at here?
Oh, you have a mixture of ribs, a mandible, and of course we have a whole string of vertebrae, or portions of the backbone. This is all the neck vertebrae. So yeah, you can see inside, so you can see all the way through. That's where the spinal cord goes through. Where they attach here, it's the same as we have in our body, and this allows the animal then to move its head up and down, so back and forth. It can't twist its head side to side.
That's the brain cavity in there?
That's right. It's quite flattened. That's not actually broken. Well, but it goes all the way up to here and here and here and here.
Oh, it does. Okay. So what's this bone right here?
This is the bone to which the flippers are attached. That's the forearms, as it were. That's the part here that actually fits into the base of the shoulder blade.
Wow, it's a big shoulder, huh?
Yes.
Ew.
You got a lot of stuff here. You got the things that have helped us break down those tissues.
Wow.
And that's it. It's a whole little ecosystem. And a 1, and a 2, and a...
Andrew, this isn't really an accordion.
No, this is actually, this is baleen. This is the feeding apparatus off a whale. Essentially, what you see is a whole series of plates that on the inside of the mouth are covered with these very, very fine fibers. The water comes in, gets pushed through there, and all the food gets stuck up on these fibers, and then they just clean their mouth with their tongue, we assume. We've never seen it happen. And they just carry on again.
Now, would these hairs be this coarse in the water as well, or have they dried a bit?
These hairs have dried just a little bit, but if you're feeding on something like small fish, it's quite easy to see how they would get stuck on that kind of a fiber.
Can we have one more accordion tune?
Absolutely. Any particular tune you want?
Do you know Ish Dishmandish Mindi?
Of course.
Well, you may not have learned to talk to whales, but we certainly learned a lot about them.
That's true. We learned a wealth of information.
That's good. You could say, all's whale that ends whale.
You can say that! Oh man, and this has all contributed to my sense of whale-being. Whale-being, that's good! Hey!
Back!
Hey, you come back here!
We got more!
71% of the Earth's surface is covered by ocean water, and with an average depth of 3,700 meters. So if I wanted to go live in the water, there'd be plenty of room for me, but I'd have to adapt. I'm a mammal, and right now, I need a snorkel and flippers to be able to breathe and swim well underwater. But there are some mammals totally suited for life in the water: whales. Scientists believe that around 50 million years ago, whales lived on the land and were only the size of dogs. When they gradually moved into the ocean, they adapted to life in the water.
Most whales depend on sound not only to communicate with each other, but also to navigate and search for food. Let's go explore some of the cool adaptations these ocean-going mammals have made to survive in their watery home. To understand how whales can communicate, I first want to learn more about sound and how it travels underwater. Sounds are waves created by the vibration of an object. In order for the vibrations to be detected, sound waves must cause something else to vibrate.
If I put some rice on the top of this drum, watch what happens when I hit it. The grains of rice jump. The waves of sound produced by the drum move through the air or gas and displace the rice.
This is a tuning fork. When I tap this fork, it will produce sound waves. Watch what happens when I put it in this bowl of water.
You can see the sound waves travel through the water. Sound travels approximately 4 times faster through water than through air.
What whales do is signal to each other using their sounds as a form of sonar. Sonar stands for sound, navigation, and ranging.
When whales make a noise, it bounces off nearby objects and is reflected back to the source of the noise, the whale. Those reflected waves cause echoes. Whales use these echoes to locate objects. They can sense the size and movements of objects too.
Another amazing thing about whales is how long they can stay underwater. But since they are mammals, they need to hold their breath like we do and come to the surface from time to time to breathe. Let's see what my lung capacity is like.
This plastic jug can hold 4 liters of water. I'm going to fill it and put it upside down in this tub of water. When I blow into the tube, the carbon dioxide, the gas I exhale, will push the water in the bottle out into the tub. Whew! I blew almost all of the water out, so that means I have a lung capacity of close to 4 liters. Some whales have a lung capacity of up to 5,000 liters and can stay underwater for close to 2 hours.
When a whale surfaces, it exhales through its blowhole, or holes. It looks like a giant fountain of water, but it's actually a mixture of air and water. Kind of like what I did with my snorkel. I guess it would have helped if I was actually in a swimming pool.
A fantastic fact about one of Canada's whales is that he's actually not a whale. The cetaceans known as killer whales, also called orcas, are in fact the largest member of the dolphin family. They have been known to hunt and kill whales in packs like wolves, and therefore were given the name killer whale. So the killer whale is not a whale.
Wow, Edie, you know what? We have really learned a lot about whales. I mean, even though my How to Speak Whale tape didn't teach me anything.
But at least you learned your lesson.
Yeah, I did.
Is that another tape? Jamie, I thought you said you just learned your lesson.
I did. I learned that I'll never be able to speak to whales, but this is how to speak to earthworms.
But Jamie...
Edie, just think about how much we would know if we spoke to the noble earthworm, the denizen of the dirt.
You...
Shh. Ooh, I don't think I hear anything.
So I can actually ask her to exhale, and she'll chuff out anything inside of the blowhole. So it's just like you and I blowing our nose. Good girl. Can I look at your hand? You got anything?
No, I don't know if I did.
Sometimes she's really clear.
Hey, you're lucky.
No boogies on the whaley.
I'm not
boogies on the whaley.
That's a skeleton of a young beluga whale that we found years ago, beaching over here on the Green Island. You can see the tooth over here in the mouth, on the tooth jaw.
Where's the tail?
No tail, because in the tail you don't have a skeleton, you have cartilage. So that's why the tail is missing.